Yo! Welcome to Hardtime 32, a channel dedicated to the creation of 32-bit games. I'm your host, Alex Wolken. It's great to have you here. I think I've actually ironed out all of the bugs in relation to streaming across Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. So there you go. You'll find me on here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. CST, working on prototype 32-bit games. So let's continue where we last left off. We were recently working on the character... sorry, I have my music so loud. The character Val from our prototype game Aspire, which is a survival horror based on things like Resident Evil, that sort of thing, inspired by You Got It. And your goal is to ascend a mega skyscraper that is infested by insect humanoid hybrids. And yeah, we're going to want to make characters right now. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a moment here and boot up Belinda. And while Blender is booting up for me here, just want to say, if you're ever curious what's on the left and right side of the screen on Instagram, there's always YouTube and Twitch that'll show you what's on the left and right side of the screen. I was half tempted to make it to where people had to twist their phone whenever it comes to Instagram, but I don't want to do that. I always find whenever I'm on Instagram and a video makes you go sideways, well, I understand why an artist would do that, because like Instagram's aspect ratio of either 1:1 or 3:2 isn't normal. I always find it a little awkward when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I have to like flip my phone around. So I'm just gonna keep it as is. And so yeah, if you're wanting the full picture, quite literally, you will find it on Twitch or YouTube. YouTube is best for the archive. Twitch seems to be a little bit better streaming service as far as getting the better bit rates and color representation, but whatever your streaming platform preference may be. I've almost got it all booted up here. So we've got the model geometry complete. We have the UV unwrapping complete. Now we just have to make the UV texture look good for texturing and painting. And we'll take it over to Substance Painter, where we'll do our painting, which we'll be able to do today, for sure. Try to pull up some magic. Also, I always like to tell people I'm listening to. Right now I'm listening to Guilty Gear soundtrack for the newest one, Strive. Let's see here. There we go, people. Yeah, I'll put myself on the right side. Alright, so here she is. She's in good shape. I just need to go to the UV editor here. You see if this is looking pretty decent on Instagram. It's like an eye. Probably as good as it can look on Instagram, having them both in the center like that. So, here is our mess of a UV model. And what we have here is we've got... Sure, okay. We have what looks to be the arms here. And then we have the legs, chest, I don't even know what that is. I'll find out here in a moment. The back, feet. And so there's what we could do to optimize things. There's going to be areas of the character model which are going to be mirrored. Essentially, they're going to look the same. For example, the bottom of the feet, I don't need 2 copies of the feet on my UV map because they're just mirrored. They're going to look the same on both sides. So we might as well save some UV space by having them mirrored. So what you could do is you can actually select a UV like this. And I used L to select it pretty quickly. And I'll scale it on the... let's see, I did -1. That's not quite right. S. There we go. On the -X. And now you'll see that these all match up, and I can actually, if I turn snapping on, I'll be able to... Oh, come on, thing. Sorry guys, give me one moment. There we go. It was snapping to increments and not vertices, which is what I want. There you go. So now, as you see here, both of these islands for the feet, UV islands as they're called, are one and the same. So let's go ahead and, what I like to do is as I mirror things, I take them off of the UV island here, just so I know which ones I have and have not done. There's another one right here. So it looks to be in pretty good shape. Let's find a good point, good solid point to click them on. Oh, come on. We'll get there. There we go. Now it looks a little bit off because I think I need to mirror it. No, I don't need to mirror it. May just need to rotate it just a hair to get it a perfect match. We'll get it. Sorry, checking on kiddo. So for example, in this case, despite being a mirror, our UV is not quite matching up. I feel like there's a, if I remember right, there's a very quick way to match up related UVs. And we're gonna go to the Google for it. Let's see here. Blender, how to snap identical islands. That'll probably get the results we need. All right, according to a Reddit, so according to a Reddit post, they recommend these way to UV one side, delete the other side, and mirror the mesh rather than the UVs. Oh wow, that's a little more work than I take for the moment. We're just going to really quickly, because we can snap these vertices, so prepare as I snap some quick vertices. If I wasn't doing a low polygon model, I would definitely do the Reddit method. So the Reddit method was essentially saying to unwrap one arm, and then after you've unwrapped one arm, delete the other arm and replace it with your unwrapped arm. Which, oh god, I've gone cross-eyed. 1 second, guys. Which makes a lot of sense, but since I'm doing such a low poly model, then this method's gonna work a-okay just really quickly. So we are just very quickly here snapping our geometry. Oh, it is reversed. How funny, guys. Give me a second. How did I not notice this before? Our two pieces here are mirrored. So we're gonna scale it negatively. There we go. I scaled it on the negative X, and now we have the same number of vertices, but I'm like, I gotta get this mirror right. There we go. There we go. Well, now things might match up. Let's try this again. And things need to be close, but they don't have to be perfect, because afterwards I can do some quick snapping. See how close that is? Okay, so if they're close enough, when I turn snapping on and I move them just a hair, it's gonna get them. Oops. There we go. And the reason I'm doing this is since we're working with a low poly model, texture space matters a lot because the geometry of the model itself isn't able to describe the form as well as the textures will. So what I mean by that is, if you were dealing with a high poly model, like say you're thinking of Last of Us 2's Joel, who's got millions upon millions of polygons. Well, the folds in his clothes can be described by not only the surface colors and texture, but you also have the geometry itself helping describe those folds. And since I'm doing a low poly model, I don't got that, so I need to take in consideration all of my UV space for my textures. So, boom. Ta-da! Voila! One mirrored arm. Move that over to where our feetsies are. Almost done. All that's really left is the legs and then this portion here. So we're gonna take our legs, rotate, and scale. Oh, I do see a little problem here. Check out this bottom piece of his foot here. On one of his feet, we have a bad, oh, I already see it, a bad crease line right here. Which actually, in a way, I kind of prefer that. Let's go ahead and add another crease here. Like I said, this is kind of like origami or sewing patterns. You're trying to unravel these in a way that makes sense. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this leg and unwrap it again. That's looking a little cleaner. My downside is I don't like that there's some sort of errant little bit of polygons there. I'll find out where he belongs. Okay, traveling up the leg here. And divides. I can see this being a point where a lot of geometry gets crushed. I probably want to... I don't know what this is going to accomplish. Let's try it, though. I'm a little concerned about the geometry in this area. Let's see what happens when we unwrap. Just for reference, this is what it looks like right now. And let's unwrap it now with those new seams. Alright, well that created, yeah, see that created an absolute mess. That's not gonna work. I'm just not happy with parts of this geometry getting collapsed like that. You know what though, this is just a prototype. Things can't be perfect. And I do want to create something awesome for you guys. So let's just keep moving for the moment. Perfection later. Learning now. What's awesome is I can, since I unwrapped just that area, you see how it filled the entire UV space? So that makes it easy when I select the other side. We've got all this area to work within. Scale X negative. And these are very much mirrored, so it's gonna be way easier to snap these vertices together. So close. There we go. I can change how much it snaps by, so let's moments. Doing good. By the way, this is something that all artists wish was like just automated. And they're probably, honestly, if you guys in chat, if you have some UV experience, I'm always looking for new tools. There's actually a new tool I have here for Blender for UV editing. I'm not using it for the moment just because it doesn't work with the latest alpha version of Blender. But that's something like, this is a bit of busy work that all artists desperately wish they could escape. And there's actually, I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's called Pexels. Maybe it's called Pexels. Essentially, it's a way to create textures without having to have a UV map. And it works only though with exceptionally high poly models. So aka really complex geometry models. So it works for film, but it doesn't work for games. But this is a process that, yeah, artists are just like, man, I just wish I could go right to the painting stage and not have to do this. And have it accurate, that's the big thing. Because I could move right to the painting stage with just the quickest of unwrap process. But by doing that, yeah, I'm gonna ruin the eventual painting portion of it. Because if this UV unwrapping is done incorrectly, then when your paintbrush, your digital paintbrush hits the surface, it's gonna smear your image that you're painting. So this is why UVs are so important, is you want them to be as close in size and representation as your surface. So that way the final image turns out as close to what you're trying to paint. Phew. We are getting there. Look at this Amanda's here. Look at this header. Bam. Yeah, I'm trying to work on the central part of my screen so that way any of the Instagram people can see what's going on there. By the way, guys, I'm reading through a manga called Blue Period. One of my poor buds, I've told them about it repeatedly. It's about a character who becomes an artist and his struggles as he's trying to attend a top Tokyo well, I don't even think it's a top Tokyo university. It's one of the better art colleges. And it's about his personal journey of discovering who he is and kind of the struggles any artist face. It's really inspiring. They have a new anime based on it, so if you're doing art yourself and you struggle with self-doubt or how you should express yourself in your art and what you should be pursuing, I definitely recommend it. It's a really good manga, Blue Period. But this is where I'm going to throw in a huge but. There is a character in it that is transgender, and it's very important to the plot. Well, I guess they're technically at this point, it's a bit confusing. They treat them like they're a cross-dresser, but the thing that bothers me so much so much. And I think the Blue Period is going to address this, is the lead character misgenders the girl every single time that they're hanging out. And it's one of his best friends growing up. And honestly, the way the manga is portraying it, his main love interest is his friend, who has been either cross-dressing or is transgender. And the thing is, though, all the other artist characters in the manga that are more advanced in art, they correctly gender his friend. So they treat her with respect and give her the correct gender. So I think, and I freaking hope, the manga is about his self-journey to getting out of the bubble of preconceptions and seeing his friend as she truly is. And hopefully it doesn't become a case of like Japanese manga and anime, they have this tendency to go right to the edge of being progressive or just being having positive messages on trans culture, and then they jump right back from that edge. A really great example of something that bothered me years ago was there's a game called Persona 4, which it was very popular, so you probably have heard of it. But there's a character in it who his struggle is he finds himself attracted to men, and he's uncomfortable with that. He's just doesn't know what to do about that. And so he falls in love with this character who he believes is a guy, and then lo and behold, it's actually a girl. And so the conclusion of his story is, I never really liked guys. I just liked her I liked her for her. I didn't like her because she was a guy. Which just kind of sucks, because the whole point of his character up to that point was just like him struggling with, he liked art despite being a rough manly man. Like, he liked sewing, that was it. He liked doing fashion. And they walk right back from that edge. Even though like they spent hours describing a plot in that regard. And so it just really bothered me so much, because he was a really strong character, and I wish they would have stuck with that storytelling. Also, by the way, just an aside, I lost a viewer as soon as I started getting on the topic of trans things. Womp womp. But yeah, Persona games, they're the ones that most bother me. They consistently in the games are addressing either gay or trans characters, and then the 11th hour of their plots, they always misrepresent them in a terrible way. Another great example is Persona 5. Who was it in Persona 5? Well, okay, here's an example. Persona 4 and 5, they found audio within each of those games that showed that you could romance the male options. And it takes a lot of work. It shows that they wanted to go to the extra step to make that an option for the lead characters. And then they just end up cutting the content. Because one big element of the Persona series is the social element where you can date characters. And it's just bizarre. They put in the work to record all the audio and set everything up for those kind of relationships to exist within the game, and then they just stop right at the edge. It's just like, nope. So I'm really curious who at Atlas it is that is just scared. I'll just say scared. I'm not going to call someone transphobic or homophobic, because who knows? They may have a more positive opinion than I think of gay culture, and they're just worried about the perception by Japanese gamers. But I just hope the Persona games, since they constantly are tackling topics of identity, will one day kind of be brave enough to address it head on because their writing is generally really good. Okay guys, so we've got all these elements here. And what we need to do is we get to jigsaw puzzle piece them together onto this, back onto this texture here. But the big thing is how big each of these little UV islands are is how much area is dedicated to their texture work. So for example, her face is going to be one of the most important areas. So I'm going to want her face to be quite large on the, yeah, I do. I really do want to take the manager persona. Yeah. These knees, you would be so upset because it's like, if you were to play those games, you'd be like, man, they're tackling all these really hard topics. And then they just, they pull back right at the end from actually doing something that's a loving progressive movement. That's okay though. It is what it is. All right, so let's see here. Now, the best way to check how your UV sizes are, your islands, is you want to actually use a UV texture, which I don't know if they have one just available. Let me see if they do. Image. It looks like I'm gonna have to make one real quick. Let me see if online I can just download a quick checkerboard image. UV checkerboard image. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. What I'm using here. Let's see here. Cool, that works. Downloading it. So, oops. One thing, I'm really excited about is I did get my job teaching, so I'm gonna just be dedicated to this channel going forward big time. That does mean a lot of my side time outside the channel has got to be dedicated to just programming. So I finished the Python stuff, which Python was new to me. I have very little experience with it, so now I'm gonna move on to C#, which I have quite a bit of experience in, so I'm not as worried. Okay. Moment, my fine folks. UV image. This should just show up on the character, but since it's not, there is a solution to this, which is I go into shading, and oh, WTF, where's my shading window at? 1 second. Here we go, and we'll turn this into a shader window. Part of my day today, by the way, is I'm making my kiddo's costume, which I'm really excited about. Texture node editor? Is that it? Nope. Come on, node editor. Node. Gonna find this here. Animation general shader editor. There we go, shader editor. Okay, so this will change what's represented on the surface of the character. Oh, little Leon's so excited. Yeah, I'm really pumped because I bought color gels for it, and I'm cutting that out, his design for his face. So whenever the LED light he wears, so for those that don't know, he's gonna dress as a Boo from Mario Brothers, and the color gel over the LED light should shine a ghostly image out onto the surface of what is a Chinese lantern. So I'm really, really pumped. Okay guys, so here you go. So this is what I was talking about. So we got a checkerboard pattern here, and this is gonna be what helps tell me how good of a job I'm doing. There we go, material preview. Okay, So my goal here is I want these squares to look fairly even, and except for in places where I'm just like, you know, like the face. I'd love to have the face to have more geometry. So really quickly, we're gonna jigsaw my human pelt here. 1 second here. I keep getting some messages and I don't know what they're about. Let me see what they are. So sweet. I got a sweet message from my lady. Got a message real quick here. Always talk to your significant others. I'm really happy I got Instagram up and going, by the way. All right. Now I'm back. Thanks, you fine folk, for being so patient. Well, I sent that message there. Right. So then, back to Buffalo Bill here. My gross skin thing. Let's get off the islands. And the other thing is I do want the islands to be easy to recognize. As far as having them vertically or horizontally, something where if I had to paint them and say, paint them in Photoshop, it'd be easy peasy. So one moment here while I turn off. Alright, so the face, we'll put in the top right. Oops. Put the face in the top right here. Rotate. This looks to be the nose, and then that looks to be on the left side of the face, so let's get it facing the right direction. Just terrifying things, actually a face. Which, ooh, that's interesting. It's the hairline. Yeah, did you see how this bee, when I flipped it over, you could see that's really cool. Watch, I'll show you guys. Check out how the texture changes here. B2 is now upside down. And this is what I mean is like, it's great for me to know what is accurate. So that's not accurate. Boom. So now we got that in the middle of the face. And this is obviously, this is the neck down here, the side of the hair, and then the face. The one thing is I'd love to kind of relax these faces. Oh, shoot. That is too strong. There we go. Mother ever. Scaling up. I want this to take up quite a bit of the screen space. Because it is so important to be able to draw a nice detailed face. It's going to be one of the most important parts of the character here. And so if you think about it, most important parts are going to be, I would say honestly after this, the next important part will be the chest and the back of the outfit. In fact, the back of the outfit is going to be one of the most important parts of this character because it's going to be a third-person game. And so this needs to be pretty dang sizable because you're going to be looking at the character's back constantly. Let's turn it to read correctly, like so. And scale up. Now, no worries, you may be like, oh, he's making things too big. I do plan to rescale things down afterwards, but just a real quick thing. Here. Just so sweet getting a message from a loved one. I'm like so happy. My lady messaged me. I'm a dork. Alright, so one thing that's nice is even though you'll see that I still have a texture here, the reason why even when this chest portion isn't on my UV map, it still is represented up here as having some of the same letters and numbers. Well, that's because a UV texture repeats infinitely. So even though it's on the left side here, it's technically, this image is being repeated even in this gray dark space around it. So I can work on it even when it's not on the UV island. So make the letters, make sure my letters and numbers read okay. And then I don't want it as big as the back because it's not as important. It's important, but it's a third-person game. You know, you see behind the character more often than not. Cutscenes it'll be important in, but yeah. And I think the legs should be make sure. Oops. Excuse me, my friends. Go. Legs, I think I want them to have about the same texture space as the chest. Let's move this over here for a second while I'm working. Now the arms I don't think are as important, to be honest. So we're gonna select them. We're gonna bring them up just a hair. But I do want them to be a little bit bigger. So what remains? Bottoms of the feet. Bottoms of the feet can be teeny tiny. You're never gonna see the bottom of their foot. Honestly, as small as that is, that's perfectly fine. This as well. The underneath the, ooh shoot. The underneath the cape. Not likely to be seen, but I will face it the right direction. Which actually, I might as well do that real quick for the arms here. Make sure the arms are at least facing the right direction. Rotate. I can see the arms being something. I rotate to the left and right. Alright, what remains? We haven't done it up here or here. The hair. So that was part of the chest. So we've already done that portion. The hair. Okay, so the hair is pretty darn important, to be honest. And I kind of wish I had mirrored it so that way I could have dedicated more UV space to it. That's okay though. Let's face the right direction for it. And it's not as important as the face, but it's pretty close. Alright, so let's select everything here. What is this? Oh, shoot. What are we dealing with here? Is that the... I am not sure where this piece even goes. This looks like it's maybe some geometry that doesn't even exist. Let's see here. So one thing is I can select a face and then do Alt-H. We gotta deselect everything though, if I remember right. Oh, gosh darn it. Come on, thing. Go to wireframe mode since I'm not seeing anything. Oh, I see. Okay. It is the kind of butt portion here, as it were. Which, you know what, guys? I don't even know if we need that geometry there. Because what I can do is I can actually bring the cloak inwards. Which, oh my gosh, cloak, what are you doing to me? Bruh. Bruh. You're facing the wrong way, bruh. No, don't mean to flip that way. What the hell? Able to strip that away and it wasn't a problem. So what I think I could do is I can delete these vertices. Oh, had to deal with the butt. Hide these. So this is an edge that was causing me trouble earlier. We can delete him. Bye-bye. Don't need you. Yeah, we did not need that edge. Alright, so we just gotta complete a little bit of a butt here. Let's see here. Hmm. Love them. Just like my final challenge is making the butt. Which is just gonna be a black void, by the way. I'm not gonna have it auto merge in this case. Yeah, the thing is, I'm concerned about. Gosh, how silly. I shouldn't even be concerned about this. Let's go. Let's go. Teeny tiny space. Don't matter. It's gonna be a black void. Alright. Now we get everything here. Let's put our jigsaw together. Does the hair need to be that big? Nope. Let's bring the hair down. Let's group up like items as close to each other as we can. That could fit perfectly fine there. The other thing to worry about is, so as resolution goes down in images, the edges between these islands can be blurry, get more blurred and then spill onto each other. So for example, if I colored the arm red and this hand blue, which is right here, because of how low res my texture is going to be due to it being a PlayStation era game, it can lead to the red bleeding onto the blue because the edges aren't as detailed as they could be. So it's like a consideration I need to take in mind. -1. Oh god. Oh god. One wrong press and I got that messed up. There we go. Just trying to put like with like in a lot of ways and keep them still as vertical as I can. And while it might be tempting to increase the space for certain things, I really should avoid that. You know, just to fill space, because then I will mess with the balance between certain objects. Like where one thing has more detail than is necessary. Almost there. Okay, so let's reduce the arm size here. We'll reduce these two. I think that's pretty good there. Probably switch the hair. The hair and the... Don't need that. Placement here, so that way I can have the hair go down a little bit more. Almost. So this is the front of the chest, so it's pretty important as well. What sucks is there's auto UV packing, so things that will arrange these jigsaw puzzle pieces for you. But the problem is, after I've combined mirrored items, I can't rely on those tools. Okay, so option. And I see switch that to vertical. And I'll have to go horizontal with the chest, which I didn't necessarily want to do, but that's okay. So arranging this jigsaw as quickly as I can. By the way, one thing I realized is like I released a time-lapse video on my Instagram, and I realized how I need to just work faster. So that way, when I do my time lapses, I don't have to speed them up so much. I was like getting dizzy watching my own time lapse. Plus, it's a good reminder, anyways, to just work faster. There we go. Sure, good enough. We'll roll with that. So now that we made this, our model is pretty well ready for texturing. So what I can do now is I can export it. Select objects. And now, it'll take me just a moment, but I'll open up Steam here and I'll show you guys what we can do. Because it's now time to start painting, making things all pretty. Come on and load up. Ooh, Super Robot Wars. Hell, let me just click on this for a second. Dude. Heck yeah, man. Okay. Oh, dude, is that Magic Knights of Ray Earth? Oh my god. Alright. So, software. You'll see here, fine folks, that I have Substance Painter 1. The ancient Substance Painter. With 161 hours in it. You know what's funny though, is like if you look, I think Substance Designer, 110 hours, yeah. I would love to update to the newest ones. I've tried the trials for them, they're fantastic. But for now, I'll just use this. So new. And we're gonna do Metal Rough. DirectX is fine. Select our mesh. Valve 2. We'll paint them at a high quality texture. Alright, so voila. So here we are, boys and girls. Oh, let me see if I can make it to where you can see it on. Sorry, Instagram folks, this is where things get a little difficult, but we now have our texture and it's all UV to where, if we want to, we can start painting. So just really quickly, grab a red, ta-da! So this is where we get to the cool stage where we can start actually painting up our character himself, which I'm really excited about. So this is what we're gonna do, and you could do also, if I was doing something really crazy, so it makes Substance Painter so stinking cool. Thank you, Sneeze. So what makes Substance Painter so cool is you can paint not just color, but also height, depth, specularity, rough. So for example, if I were to choose some old ginkgo bark here, it's like an old ginkgo tree that I've made. Or here's some pretty, oh, let's make them a uniform gold. Oh my god, look at that gold. Titanium. I made them titanium. Aww. All shiny and chrome. Or let's make them plastic. Dude, that plastic looks so cool. Hell yeah, once again, let's do just for the hell of it. Let's do a solid fill layer of plastic. There you go, made them all solid plastic. But yeah, so that's what's awesome is, so whenever we come back on Friday is when I will be just painting more or less using just like a normal pen and stuff like that, and we'll try to make this dream a reality. So let me switch over here. Oops. Lol. No momento. My Instagram peeps, you're dealing with it. I switched my shortcut keys. One moment. Sources, that's nice. How the heck am I going to switch? You poor Instagram fools. So I tried to get everything set up for you guys. There you go. I brought you back, Instagram. Mea culpa, me sorry. I made a little Lego character, that's right. But yeah, so let's get this set up right. There we go. Thanks again, guys, for being here. So tomorrow is whenever we're going to do texturing proper on Val, which means we just get to paint and have fun. So it's kind of like back to illustration time, and it has its own little kind of eccentricities because you are painting on a 3D surface. So how that gets interpreted is kind of unique and difficult, but we'll get there. And thanks again, guys, so much for being here. I hope you have an awesome day ahead. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Ciao.